This is Mr. Sales. In this video I'm gonna present our current technique for a tibial tuberosity transfer using a 1/3 tubular plate and screws for fixation. This is a 17-year-old male with a past medical history of Charcot-Marie tooth. He presented with a history of recurrent patella instability of the right knee. He has previous right knee epiphysiodesis with 8 plates on the tibia and femur to correct his alignment, and multiple previous surgeries on both feet. AP and lateral x-rays reveal patella alta and a shallow trochlea. Full-length x-rays of both legs show normal frontal plane alignment. The MRI scan of the right knee shows patella alta, shallow trochlea, and evidence of a recent episode of patella dislocation. Examination under anesthesia reveals the previous incisions from 8 plates, both the tibia and femur on both sides. Patella tracking was normal with no J-sign. However, there was gross instability of the patella in flexion and extension, up to 40 to 60 degrees of flexion. Similar findings on the contralateral side. We routinely perform a diagnostic arthroscopy in all our cases. This is to assess chondral damage, degree of trochlear dysplasia, patella maltracking, and other differential diagnoses such as ACL tears of lateral meniscus tears. The tibial tuberosity is exposed first. Full thickness skin flaps are raised to allow adequate exposure. The prominence of the hamstring tendon insertion is palpated. The sartorial fascia is incised. The gracilis tendon is identified and full release of any vincula is performed. The gracilis tendon is then harvested in the usual fashion. For this technique, a minimal length of 18 cm is required. The tendon is clear of any muscle fibers. The tendon is then resected. Both ends are whip stitched, and once the graft is prepared, it is left on a wet swab. The distal insertion of the patellar tendon is identified and 2 small incisions made on each side of the tendon. The dissecting scissors are inserted in the previously made incision around the tendon. Diathermy is used to mark the position of the screws and the transverse osteotomy cut. The periosteum of the medial tibial tuberosity is dissected to allow insertion of the guide wires. The fascia of the anterolateral compartment is open, leaving a small cuff to allow later repair. The periosteum distal to the osteotomy is carefully dissected. The amount of bone to be resected distally depends on preoperative planning. In this case, a 1 cm distalization was done. The musculature of the anterolateral compartment is dissected off the tibia with a periosteal elevator. Homan retractors are then inserted. Using a 3.5 mm drill bit, a pilot hole is made where the proximal screw will be inserted. Any bone contained in the drill bit is kept for later bone grafting of the transverse cut of the tibial tuberosity. Two parallel 1.6 K-wires are inserted from medial to lateral to guide the saw blade. The horizontal limb of the osteotomy is done using the guide wires as a guide for the saw blade. The saw blade is directed distally and proximally to complete the horizontal limb of the osteotomy. A metallic ruler is inserted to protect the transverse cut. The transverse distal cut is made using a small saw blade. The metallic ruler is then inserted proximally and it will allow us to identify where the proximal osteotomes will be placed. The osteotomy is completed with an osteotome. K-wires are then removed. The fragment is fully mobilized by releasing the medial and lateral parapatellar structures. We then measure the amount of bone to be resected based on preoperative calculations. We mark this with an osteotome. We use the metallic ruler to protect our transverse osteotomy cut, as overpenetration may cause a risk of fractures around the tibia. The tibial tuberosity fragment is then reduced and held in position by the assistant. A 2.5 mm drill bit is inserted on the previous pilot hole and the far cortex is drilled. The length of the screw is then measured. I recommend tapping of the screw to facilitate screw insertion and avoid the screw hitting the far cortex and displacing the tuberosity fragment. The proximal screw is then inserted. We use the 1/3 tubular plate as a template to identify the ideal position of the distal screw. The solid part of the plate should overlap the area of the transverse osteotomy. A 2.5 mm drill bit is used to create a hole for a 3.5 mm screw. The screw hole is measured and tapped. At this point, the plate is removed and bone graft obtained from the drill bit is added to the transverse osteotomy cut. The periosteum is closed over the osteotomy with number 0 Vicryl before plate application. At this point, it is important to close the anterolateral compartment before plate application to avoid muscle hernia. This will no longer be possible once the plate is in place. The plate is now reapplied over the repaired periosteum and the screw inserted. Attention is then directed to the distal screw. The screw is measured and tapped, and the definitive screw is inserted. Final sequential tightening of the screws is done. The stability of the fixation is observed by flexing the knee to 90 degrees. Additional procedures are then performed. In this case, we did an MPFL reconstruction. The final position of the screws are checked with fluoroscopy. After the completion of a tibial tuberosity and MPFL reconstruction, adequate stability of the patella was observed and normal patella tracking. Thank you for watching this video.